So, we're going to talk about some Star Wars news that came out this week, and it has to do with a new project that apparently Tony Gilroy said is happening. Tony Gilroy is the man behind Andor Season 2, which drops in a couple of weeks, as well as he helped with Rogue One. But he's essentially said that Disney is working on a horror project for Star Wars. Lucasfilm is. He hoped that because of the success of Andor and things like that in The Mandalorian, that Lucasfilm would maybe branch out and do more projects. And he essentially confirmed the horror thing is coming. Now, I'm 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 open to seeing what a Star Wars horror project could be. There's been a book in the past from 2009 called Death Troopers. We'll get to that in a second. But there hasn't really been any other horror elements within Star Wars, within Legends, canon, any of that. There hasn't been a whole lot. There's been bits and pieces of it in the Clone Wars, and with the Death Sisters and things on um, what's that planet? I can't think of the name right now. Dathomir, right? So there's a precedent for it, but there's never been a focus solely on horror. Now, what does that mean, right? What are they going to adapt? Are they going to do something completely new or not? Let me just get to the article real quick. So essentially, right, they might actually do it. Some people think it's going to be those troopers from Ahsoka that seemed. We don't know if they were undead or not. Obviously, that ties into the magic of the Dathomiri witches and things like that. I don't know if that's something I would want to see. Right. I think that there's room for it in Star Wars. I think there's room for a lot of different genres. Not every genre, but a lot of different ones. But the one, and like I mentioned earlier, is Death Troopers that people want to see. Right. So when the book originally came out in 2009, this was the cover. You may have seen it. Obviously, it evokes a lot of horror imagery with a hook through a stormtrooper helmet's viewport. Right. If you go to the store now, this is the new cover you'll see, which is much more indicative of a zombie story. I personally have not read it. Again, zombies aren't my thing. Right. I don't watch The Last of Us. I never watched The Walking Dead. I don't play zombie games. So I'm open to it, but it's not going to be like I'm not going to jump at it. And I hope people that do enjoy horror and zombies, if it gets adapted, if it works out in their favor, right? There's no guarantee we'll know exactly what the horror story will be, but I think them adapting a horror element would work ultimately in Star Wars. We'll see what happens though. Again, I don't know what will end up happening. I would rather them do like a mob style movie with like the Huts, underworld stuff. We're gonna get some of that with the new Tales of the Underworld, hopefully. But I don't know. I don't know what their idea is or what they're adapting. Again, everyone is hoping that it's Death Troopers. I mean, with a cover like that, you can't ignore it, right? So it just really comes down to how it's written, how it's shot, right? Horror movies are all about angles and things like that. So we'll see. I don't if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I hope it doesn't deter them from adapting other types of genres. We'll see. Again, this is major Star Wars news, right? Them adapting a horror show. If it's adapting Death Troopers, if it's a new story, if it's something else, I really hope they just don't go back to just doing Dathomiri stuff because we've had a lot of them lately. So it better be something. They need to expand the galaxy, not shrink it, right? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But Star Wars horror, I'm down. Are you?